welcome back to Simply Gregster EV. Today we have a 2025 Porsche Taycan GTS Sport Turismo. This is a car I've been wanting to have on the channel forever, and we finally have one. Let's not waste too much time. Let's get into it right away. Let's go. Here we are, 2025 Porsche Taycan GTS Sport Turismo. This car is all about the numbers, and they're very big numbers. 596 horsepower nominal, up to 690 horsepower with launch control and the push-to-pass boost. This is a beautiful car. This is a proper car. This is a proper EV. I find it looks absolutely fantastic. It follows that Porsche four-door design language. It's sitting on the optional 21-inch wheels, which I believe are $3,700. There's a lot of options on this car. Hopefully we'll touch on that. But I think this is one of the coolest EVs around, but also one of the coolest cars around. Porsche calls it a Sport Turismo. You could call it a station wagon. You can call it an estate. It is what it is. I call it an estate. It doesn't look like anything else on the road. It doesn't drive like anything else on the road. This is a serious EV, but it's also a very serious car. 0 to 100 kilometers an hour, 3.3 seconds. Launch control that will suck your face off and put the eyeballs in the back of your skull with ease. No problems there. A very clever suspension system on it. It does have an active suspension system on it, which we'll touch on during the road test. Guys, I think this is one of the coolest cars around. One of the best cars around. This is a serious car. It's just a shame we don't have the roads for it here, because it wants to go so much faster than we can actually drive. Doesn't have those optional kind of shiny disc brakes on it. It still has the traditional steel disc brakes on it, which is fine by me, because when it comes time to replace those are already expensive. I can't fathom what those laser etched tungsten rotors cost. Your DC charge port is on this side, so this car does have two charge ports. Your DC charge port is on this side. This is to close it up. Big numbers. Peak DC fast charging rate on this car, 320 kilowatts, and trust me, we're going to post the charging test, and it hits it with ease, with no problems whatsoever. Up to, I believe, 22 kilowatt AC will do. I've been charging it at home on 11 kilowatt AC, no problems there. Super cool car. It does have a Frunk. Let me just grab. It has also has the LED matrix lights, but it does have a very cool Frunk on it. A massive Frunk. Here we go. Huge Frunk on it. Awesome to see. We'll close this up. Easier to close than the Macan EV hood. The Macan EV was really annoying to close. I think it looks super good. Again, all about the numbers. I'm not a huge fan of where the drive select is. You have your, again, smaller steering wheel. Your paddles do your regen. It doesn't have one pedal driving in the traditional sense, where you lift your foot off the accelerator and it starts regen. It doesn't do that. You actually do have to use the brakes. I guess we'll start with the screens in this car. This is where there's a lot to go through. First of all, we'll start with the sunshade. So you click that button, and this whole display here moves. It moves up and down whenever you click the buttons. It actually moves. So it's a bit tactile. So sunroof, so you could do clear. It will go to clear. It will go to matte. I don't know how well you're seeing it. It will go to semi, and it will go to bold. So these are all your sunshade settings, and now it's back to clear. Again, I believe that's a $5,500 option on the car. So we'll go through that. Here's your battery. You could set your charge limits through here. This actually threw me off the other day, setting your charge limit through here. DC, AC, DC, it's through here. That's all of that. These are to open your trunks. You can open them up through here, the tailgate in back or the front. We'll go through that. Climate, the central display, heads up, climate, all of that stuff. Climate is on right now. Okay, this is now where it gets to get very complicated. These are the settings. So we'll go to vehicle. This is where you could customize your drive mode. So when you turn the buttons, it's set up to what you want and you can save it, and so on and so forth. Again, vehicle, electric parking brake applied, smart lift. You could save locations of where there are speed bumps, where the car will actually lift itself. That's pretty common Porsche stuff and all your additional chassis settings, additional brake functions, clean brake bedding systems, all of that. I'm quite familiar with this because I spend a lot of time working on Porsches, so I know where kind of everything is. Your drive assistance is here, adaptive cruise control, all of the usual accoutrements, comfort here, ambient lighting, Porsche active ride, comfort entry height, active tilt control, active pitch control. All of this stuff is here. Again, that has to do with the active suspension sitting. I told you there was a lot to go through in here. We're not even through it. Your charging settings are here. You could set your charge limit is set here. You have other settings in here. Compatibility mode for older chargers that aren't compatible with the car. You click that and you should be able to charge. It does have plug-in charge. I turned it off. Battery conservation, all of that stuff in there as well. Now you know why I brought a bottle of water with me, because there was so much to go through. Sport chrono, all of that stuff. I don't think we need to go too much further through this, because I said there is a lot of tech in this car and it will take you an hour or two just to figure it out. I know that was a lot to go through. Trust me, it was a lot for me. I've already killed that bottle of water off, but I think it's time we go for a drive and actually see what the Taycan is all about, because this car drives absolutely fantastic. Let's get on the road and we'll take it for a drive. So what I think we'll do is we'll put the drive mode into Sport Plus, and I love how it plays the sort of a fake engine sound and an engineered sound, but also at the same time the driving experience, because it has that two-speed gearbox in back and the one-speed gearbox on the front axle. It feels like you're driving a very smooth gas engine. They've kind of simulated that quite well in this car. So we'll just get on the road here as it's playing its music. As you hear, we'll turn down the climate control and we'll give it a shot of, yeah, it hurts your neck, it hurts your face. Your eyeballs get sucked to the back of your head. I actually said the other day while driving this that my eyeballs ended up in the back. But everything in here is beautifully built now. We're just driving on some country roads and it's amazing. Let's hit the push to pass button. Yeah, that's... I really wish that you could feel what I'm feeling in this car right now, because it is absolutely wild. But also at the same time, quite a nice place to sit, very comfortable, built for long distance driving. I keep saying this, I've said it before, I'll say it again as we enter this speed zone. This car was built to go from Stuttgart to Hamburg, Hamburg to Berlin, Berlin to Munich, and to eat up those Autobahn miles. That's what it's built for. Big speed, big charging, just big numbers on Taycan. And it's always been like that. And just to give you an idea of how fast this car is, I'm doing 60 kilometers an hour, 80, 90, 100. That's how fast that this car is. And that wasn't even in push to pass or anything like that. That was foot to the floor. That's how quick it is. And you see how you get thrown back in your seat. It's just savage acceleration, properly savage stuff. I can't get over how good this car is. And not just because this is a GTS and it does have the dynamic package and all the option box pretty much checked. This features Porsche's active suspension system and rear steering. Very piece of clever engineering on the suspension system. A lot of engineering hours went into it. I can't explain all the details, but basically they fitted each damper with an electric motor that pumps in fluid in and out of the two chambers in the damper up to 13 times every second, and it's sensing what's coming up in the road, trying to adjust to it. So what that means is it's completely flat cornering in this car. It's absolutely like nothing I've ever felt before driving in any car. If you see a rut in the road, you brace yourself in a sports car like, oh, I'm going to feel it through my bones. This is going to hurt my spine. That's not the case in this car. The suspension is just so finely tuned and so precisely tuned. And as I mentioned, we're in Sport Plus now as we just come up to this corner now. We'll give it around this corner here. Yeah. Just dab on the brakes a bit. Absolutely wild. The car's so flat, and you can tell this car wants to go faster. It's saying, drive me faster, drive me faster. We'll take it out of Sport Plus now. We'll put it into just regular Sport, tones down the car, but still excellent, 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 excellent suspension on this car. It's a dream to drive, and the steering is razor sharp. Perhaps the only thing I don't like about the steering is I don't find it's as weighted as it should be. I know this is not a full GT car, but it just doesn't have that weighted feeling that I'm used to in Porsches of old, like in a 997 GT3 RS or something. I'm used to that heavy steering feeling, and you don't really get any of that in this car. But what you get is very precise steering and very precise brake feel, and that's what I love. They just get it so right. They just get it absolutely perfect every single time. It's just such a pleasure to drive. The interior in here is beautiful. It's all wrapped in the faux suede, the Alcantara. I don't know how well that's going to hold up over wear, especially where your knee hits the center stack over here, the center console. I don't know how that's going to hold up well. Steering wheel, nice and thin, nice and small. You're not grabbing it like you're grabbing a log. Everything, it just feels so nice in here. And again, because it's a Porsche, it lists battery temperature properly. It lists available charging speed. We're at 51% state of charge, max 135 kilowatts of charging speed we can get out of this car because the battery is quite cold. Everything in here is just very nice. You have the nice Sport Chrono lap timer in front of you. I don't know how many people actually still use that. Quite frankly, I don't know why they still offer that on the car. It doesn't really add anything, but very, very nice in here. Very nice place to sit. You have the beautiful option seats. You have the Race Tech fabric on them, the colored seat belts, the red stitching, I believe they call this deviated stitching. That's become a very Porsche trait these days. Probably a $500 option on that as well. I still can't believe that we're driving this car on this channel. I still can't believe that we got to do the Macan EV this year and a Taycan. Yeah, it just puts a huge smile on my face driving this car because it's just so good. I keep banging on about it. I just wish you knew what it was like to drive. You might own one, you might know what I'm talking about, but this car is just so good to drive, so much fun, and it's just a nice place to be. I can't believe I get to do this sometimes. It's just a pinch me now moment. It's just absolutely pinch me. I do remember quite a long time ago, 2019, I went to the local launch of this car. Porsche Canada brought us up to the racetrack to Mont Tremblant. That's the first time I saw the Taycan. And they were talking about, and you might have heard me mention, it has the 2-speed gearbox in back and it has a gearbox on the front axle. So there's a couple reasons why they did that. I hope I explain it properly. From what I remember was they were looking for acceleration, but they were also looking for the top speed. And it does that quite well. I remember when we drove the Macan, it was kind of topping out, but this is built for speed, built for acceleration. That's why they went the gearbox route, and Tesla was making fun of them at the time for doing that, but I think it's very interesting and very clever how they engineered that solution with putting the gearboxes on. There have been a couple problems, I know this for a fact, but we won't mention that. We'll focus on this car immediately. But yeah, it's when you drive it, you actually feel almost like a shift happening. And it just adds to the experience, especially if you're in Sport Plus and you're playing the fake noises, the fake engine sound. It just adds to the experience of driving the car, because sometimes the EVs, they just get a bit too quiet and you forget what you're driving. Having a bit of noise, having a bit of experience to it just adds to the overall pleasure of driving the car. There's nothing wrong with that. Having a bit of mechanical feeling in the car, I like that. This is a sports car at the end of the day. That's what you want to have while you're driving. You just don't want to get inside, press a button, drive off, and it's not doing anything. And it does that. This car does the excitement part quite well, and we'll just give it a bit of throttle here. Yeah, I can't explain how fast this car. Let's go. Second, wow, that launch control was wild, and you feel the bang when the two-speed gearbox engages. Oh, my head hurts now. My eyes have been sucked back into my head, as I mentioned before. Wow, that was absolutely wild. I can't believe. Again, the price, 211,000 Canadian dollars for this car. It starts at $159,000 Canadian, and then you're presented with the option list. $5,500 roof. You have the nearly $10,000 dynamic package. You have $4,000 in wheels. But let's be honest here, I can't nitpick too much. Porsche's been doing this for 20 years already with the options list. I think we know what we're getting into if you were purchasing a new one, where you would have to get $20,000, $30,000 of options on the car. That's just the way it is. I can't fault them with that. What I do like, I think we've covered that already. Big numbers, big charging. Again, 105 kilowatt hour battery pack, 97 usable, 320 kilowatts of the DC fast charging peak, and it will hold that up to 60-70% as we've done in the charging test. It's just big numbers on this car. Everything, big power, big charging, big range. NRC Canada range on this, I think they rated it at 470 kilometers, but I don't really think it matters all that much. This is a proper sports car, and I think this is one of the best cars I've driven, hands down. Not just best EV, I think one of the best cars I've ever driven. And I've driven a lot of cars, spent a lot of time in the GT cars. I really can't find too much fault with this car. It's just absolutely perfect. Yes, it's expensive, but fantastic what they have done here. I can't stop gushing enough. I mean, I love the interior, the carmine red exterior paint, $1,700 option, by the way. It's just so much fun to drive. I just really wish we had the roads here to properly enjoy it. I mean, you could break the speed limit and lose your license in this car in a fraction of a second. That's how fast it is. Some of the gimmick stuff like this roof that changes color, or maybe that active suspension, like if that breaks, do you really want to be dealing with that, having to repair it? But $211,000 car, I think this car is worth every single penny. That's how good it is. And if you've made it this far, please think about liking and subscribing. I think that's going to be it with the 2025 Porsche Taycan GTS. We'll see you in the next video.